Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap, and this is the new Infinix Note 10 Pro. Now, I'll be totally honest with you, this is actually the first Infinix phone I've ever used, so I'm quite excited about that, and also a big thank you to Infinix for sponsoring this video, although, as always, all opinions are my own. But this guy costs just $259, and I think considering what we are getting for that money, this could actually be really good value. So as I say, first Infinix phone ever, so let's get this unboxed. You can see we've got this big 6.95-inch screen. It's really, really massive actually, but we'll come back to that in just a second. SIM ejector. We've then got this is quite fun, this $1 Join X Club coupon. I'll definitely cash that in later, as well as a clear plastic case to keep the phone nice and safe. We also get a pair of headphones, which is not something you see very often these days, USB-C cable, and also Infinix's 33-watt X charger for fast charging. This really is a big phone, although actually it's surprisingly thin and light given that almost 7-inch screen size. You can see the key specs here, 6.95-inch, 90 Hz. We've got the Helio G95 MediaTek processor, which actually is a really good gaming chip, 64 megapixel quad camera, keen to have a little look at those in a second, fast charging, and this top spec one has 8 gigs of RAM plus 256 storage. Beautiful. Look at that. So as you can see, we've got this dual tone design on the back, we've got this textured finish on the bottom and this reflective glossy top. And I really like the way as the light hits it, it sort of bounces off a little differently. We get this nice curve between the two textures. It definitely stands out. It looks quite smart and definitely more premium than the price tag might suggest. So let's get this fired up. We've got this power button on the right hand side, which doubles as a fingerprint reader, although you can also face unlock it with the hole punch selfie camera up front. It's a 16 megapixel camera. We also get stereo speakers, not something you see very often on more affordable phones. So speaker grill down here and then one in the earpiece at the top. On the bottom, as you can see, we've got a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is always a plus. And then on the back, we've got this big quad lens camera setup. And actually, if I just use the SIM ejector to pull the tray out, you can see we've got room for 2 4G SIM cards and also, great to see, a micro SD card so you can expand the storage. I really love just how big this screen is. We've got nice thin bezels around the edges, we've got the hole punch selfie at the top. As I say, 6.95 inches. If you're watching movies or playing games, this is going to give you a really immersive experience. Now this is using an LCD panel, which obviously isn't quite as nice as AMOLED, but actually because it's an IPS LCD, we're getting pretty good 1500:1 contrast, and the viewing angles aren't too bad at all actually. And of course the reason for this is, well, cost saving, but on the plus side we do get a 90 Hz refresh rate, and actually I would take a high refresh all day long, even over the slightly more inky blacks of an AMOLED screen. So I'm perfectly happy with that. 90 Hz, Full HD Plus, IPS LCD. Now the first thing I want to do is jump into a game, and actually this is Genshin Impact, which is one of the most graphically demanding games on mobile right now. And as you can see, we have the occasional frame drop, but on the whole, it's actually really nice and smooth. And so obviously this is being powered by the MediaTek Helio G95, which is actually over twice as fast as the previous gen G80. And just the fact that it runs Genshin this well means you're not going to have any problem with any app or game you throw at it. And you might also be able to hear those speakers. So as I say, stereo speakers, they're actually DTS tuned, so we get better surround sound. And if I shut up for a second and just turn the volume up, you might get an idea of how good they are. But it's not just about the hardware, because while we have the G95 and also in this top spec model 8 gigs of RAM, we've also got Infinix's Darlink game engine optimizer, which I keep thinking sounds like Darling, and I want to call my phone Darling. But no, Darlink, and it works by intelligently adjusting the speed of the CPU and the GPU and all the resource allocation behind the scenes to give you the smoothest and best gaming experience possible. The other benefit of having a big phone is that they can cram a really big battery in it as well. So we've got a 5,000 mAh cell in here, and depending on how you use it, of course, you'll easily get a day and a half of use out of this. And of course, we do also have that fast 33-watt X charger, which actually charges up 50 minutes faster than the previous generation of this phone. So a nice upgrade there. Now, as I say, this is my first Infinix phone, and also the first time I've used their software. So we're getting Android 11 with their XOS software on top. And so far, I'm actually really liking it. It's nice and quick. Obviously, that's helped by the 90 Hz screen as well. We have this dashboard to the left-hand side with some news feeds, also the weather and a step counter, and also how much RAM you're using, and you can reset that as well. So you've got a bit of an optimizer there. And we've got tons of extra functions and features if you want to have a play and really customize this and make it your own. I also quite like how they're calling the battery menu Power Marathon, which suggests that we are going to get a nice long battery with this. But you can also tweak all the power saving and ultra power saving modes as well. So you can get some extra juice out of this. My only feedback would be that there are quite a few pre-installed apps on the phone which you may not want, although you can remove and hide them in folders if you want to. And I do appreciate that often helps these companies keep the price down. But now let's talk about this camera, and actually it's a pretty good setup considering the price. We're getting a quad lens module here with a 64 megapixel main, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a couple of 2 megapixels, a depth and a black and white. And actually one thing I quite like, as you can see here, is that there's no standard photo mode. They've actually called it AI cam because we've got the scene and object detection, and actually the AI will automatically enhance the photo based on what you're looking at. So I've got the phone box here. If I bring in my fake plant, let's see if it detects what it is. There you can see flower at the top there, so it's analyzing the photo. So the AI will then optimize the photo based on what you're looking at. You can also shoot in the full 64 megapixels if you want the highest resolution image as well. And we also get 4K 30 FPS video with both the front and the rear camera, which is nice, especially at this price point. And we've also got this portrait mode where you can actually adjust the aperture manually, so how much of a sort of bokeh background you'd like. And also this super night low light mode. And then switching round to the 16 megapixel selfie camera and also the same 4K 30 video. So that is the new Infinix Note 10 Pro. And while a lot of people still haven't actually heard of Infinix, they are growing really, really fast. I think they've grown like 160% in the last couple of years. So they are definitely one to watch. And I think the Note 10 Pro, given its $259 price tag, definitely worth considering if you want a good all-round, big screen, pretty decent gaming phone. And if you do fancy checking this out for yourself, I will leave links below, so go and have a look at that. And if you've got any questions at all, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.